It's 6 p.m. We'll bring this Village of Galena Council meeting to order. If we could stand for the pledge, please. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for coming out and welcome to our Harlem guests. Thank you for coming out tonight. I'll just briefly tell you, this is an official meeting for both the Harlem team as well as the Village of Galena team. So we're going to be doing a couple of things that might feel a little bit different, but we have to call roll for both sides. So Michelle, if you could call roll.
And just as I say your name, please say here. Kathy?
Yes.
Zach?
Here.
Jillian?
Here.
Jill?
Yes, here.
Pete?
Here.
And Mike?
Here.
And from Harlem Township, Adam Holliday? Here. John Trainer? Here. Robert Singer? Thank you.
Thank you all. We're going to be moving to an open hearing concerning the Harlem and Village of Galena cooperative economic development agreement that we've been pursuing for some time now. This is the culmination of almost 2 years of work. I think Adam and you and I had actually met almost 2 years ago now for the first time and started this conversation. So it's an exciting night for all of us. I'm really glad you're here. We're going to open this open hearing, and then what will happen is we'll have our legal counsel. We'll actually change some seats here. We'll have our legal counsel set the stage on the terms of the agreement, so everybody has the same foundation, and then we'll open it up for questions. So, Kaylee, if you could open the hearing for us. You're planning to testify? Raise your hand, please. Okay, if we can do a quick chair switch. Thank you, counsel. We'll call you back up in a few minutes. We have the Harlem team come up and our legal team come up. While people come up, I just want to also acknowledge and thank Councilwoman Doucette for her leadership. She's been part of this effort from the village's point of view for the entire time. So thank you, Jillian, for that. Okay, we have Adam. We do want to, will you do a quick introduction for the folks that just came up, please?
I am Holly Maddie with Crossroads Community Planning representing Harlem Township.
My name is Pete Griggs. I am special counsel to Harlem Township.
I'm Adam Holliday, currently serving as chair of the Harlem Township Board of Trustees.
Jeff Kendall, Mayor of Galena.
Jillian Doucette Banton, Councilwoman of Galena.
Hi, good evening. I'm Rob McCarthy with Bricker, Grade and Wyatt, representing the village.
And I am Kenneth Molnar, the solicitor for the Village of Galena.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to council. If you guys want to set the stage, we'd appreciate that.
I think we're going to, Holly has got handouts. She's got a map of the proposed ceded territory if anybody would like a copy. Rob, I don't know if you want me to get started. You want to take the lead? Doesn't matter.
I'm flexible. Maybe I'll say a couple things.
Sure.
If you want to, again, this is really a hearing. It's an opportunity to educate the community on what's being proposed. Everybody hear me okay? And there's no legislation during this hearing. I imagine, I don't live in Galena or Harlem, but these are beautiful communities. I'm sure that's why all of you moved here. And anytime there's growth, as Delaware County's experienced, there's a lot of anxiety. I imagine a lot of you are wondering, is this being done because there's a specific project or something coming? And that's not what a CETA is about. A CETA is about a municipality and a township proactively setting up structures in place to protect what they love about their communities before the growth happens or as the growth happens. And so we're going to talk through if everybody got the handout out in the hall. There was a great handout that the village and the township had. It's on the village website if you don't have it, which talks about what is a CETA and what's proposed in the CETA between the village and the township. And we were just going to use that to guide the conversation and then open up for questions. I don't know, Pete.
Yeah, I think that's a great starting point. So, you know, Rob and I represent a lot of local governments throughout Central Ohio. We've had the opportunity to do several CETAs now. You know, we have a lot of experience, and, you know, I think this is I want to start off by saying I think this is a tremendous opportunity. A CETA is, as the mayor said earlier, it's a legal agreement. It's called a Cooperative Economic Development Agreement, and it's really from my perspective, of how two communities can look at shared mutual interests in terms of infrastructure, planning, growth, economic development, and how they can cooperate together and grow together and really kind of join in a joint vision for a particular area. So the map itself that you've been provided, that is the designated CETA territory. So anything outside of that Rob and I go over is not going to be, right now it's not applicable. But Rob and I have had the opportunity to do, like I said, a couple different CETAs that have been really successful. I think one of the probably better examples locally is the city of Marysville and Jerome Township. So if you know where Jerome Township is, if you go up 33 you hang a right on 42 in Jerome Village, beautiful community there. So those parties negotiated a CETA that basically allowed the city of Marysville to extend utilities into the township without a requirement of annexation. As you know, a lot of bigger municipalities require annexation as a condition of receiving utilities. In Marysville and Jerome, there was the need to plan for infrastructure. There was a need to share a vision in terms of growth, and then there was also a need to talk about sharing of revenue. So obviously, when you grow, there is going to be increased revenue, and that relationship has blossomed up there. I think Rob would agree, and it's a perfect example of how communities can approach regional growth, because oftentimes we're faced with conflict where there's not a lot of conversations between a village and a township or a city and a township, and it's adversarial. When a city tries to annex, township will fight the annexation. And but a cooperative economic development agreement is really, from my perspective, a very high level of how we can grow together, how we can grow together as a community, and how we can approach those shared visions. So that's really, from a very high level perspective, what this CETA attempts to do. And I think the area that has been identified, the reason it has been identified is because that is the village of Galena's, they have the ability to provide sewer service in that area under what's called a 208 plan. So that's where we drew the line at. In terms of what development is going to look like in that area. And Holly's the expert on land use and planning, but it will be township zoning. The Galena has agreed to extend the utilities, extend sewer service in that area without the requirement of annexation. And there is going to be a lot of revenue sharing, and Rob is probably a better not probably, he is a public finance expert. So I thought I'd maybe just pitch it over to him and talk a little bit about how the parties have agreed to generate revenue and share that revenue.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Well, as a baseline, one thing I would say about the revenue is that the terms of this CETA only apply if homeowners, property owners decide to sell and develop. If you live in one of these properties, nothing's changing in terms of taxes or revenue from your home or your property. Again, the idea here is to be proactive so that if growth comes, it's not parcel by parcel negotiation as to where am I getting my sewer, where am I getting my water, am I annexing, am I not? It's designed to be a consistent approach as to that whole sort of orange rectangle. And again, so it only will apply if the properties are sold and developed and there's a development plan with the township. And basically, the two things that would be new if the properties were developed, and this would be future legislation, would be one, if there were businesses that moved into that property, and a lot of these properties may not be developed for business, that would be determined by the township zoning, of course. There would be a municipal income tax that would apply to those businesses. Again, not to the residences. And the other would be if homes are developed, not the current homes, but future homes, there's a subdivision and new homes are put in and it's subject to a development plan of the township, there would be a new community authority millage charge, which is similar to what new homes in Galena are subject to. And the revenue from both of those would be split between the parties and used for infrastructure and services needed to get the sewer here and have other services that benefit those properties. It's all designed to be sort of forward-looking for if and when development comes, rather than being caught off guard, because as Pete and Holly, I know, have seen a lot of other communities, you can be caught flat-footed when a developer comes and then everybody's scrambling and it may not be done in a consistent way. Anything else on that we should?
No, and I think that's really kind of to go off of Rob's point. A lot of times when developers go into kind of that gray area of where they could potentially develop in a city or a township, there's a tendency for the developer to get the best deal. And from my perspective, it really kind of puts the local governments at a disadvantage, because if they're negotiating against each other and they may not necessarily want the project on that terms, and they maybe in order to keep it within their jurisdiction, they're going to give up more. But as Rob pointed, the beauty with the CETA is we know what the terms are going to be, and there's no forum shopping, right? So we don't, we're going to be able to sit down and decide whether or not it's a good project from the get-go. So I once again, I've done the one with Jersey Township in New Albany, and that is worked wonders. And I think that one was signed within the last year or so, but that was really designed to protect the remainder of Jersey Township, and the benefit to the city was that it's going to be appropriate growth. And again, I think you have that here as well. And I think the parties did a great job with coming up with the sharing of the revenue. And I think so both local governments are going to benefit tremendously.
All right, we are now going to open up for questions, and what I'd ask is questions will be taken over at the podium. Tom, if you can turn on the mic for us over there. When you approach, please give us your name your address, and we'd love to know whether you're part of the village or part of the Harlem Township or outside. We did have one person request to speak from the sign-in sheet. That is Steve Eisenbrown. If Steve would like to come up. Okay. Steve got answered what he needed answered. All right. If anybody else would like to approach, we'd love to have you come up.
Good evening. Bruce Harris, resident of Harlem Township, 9773 Coven Drive. You brought up an interesting point that I'd like for you to kind of elaborate on. First of all, the documents is excellent. It's well written. The questions that were put forth, the explanation of those were very good. You brought up the issue that within the CETA, residential development can occur. So Holly, as that process begins to take place and single-family residential developers want to entertain opportunities there, your division, your area will begin to sculpt how the zoning process for residential development begins to happen prior to it beginning. Is that correct or is that incorrect?
So that is correct. And the township already has a zoning overlay district in place that covers the exact boundaries of this area.
Can you share a little bit about what that overlay on the
Mhm.
residential side
Yeah.
illustrates?
So it allows a mixture of different types of dwelling units, but it also allows for a mixture of service-based commercial uses. So it would allow single-family, multifamily, and townhomes up to 8 dwelling units per acre, and as well as some commercial service businesses. Of course, there are significant architectural requirements that the township has put in all of their overlays. And then obviously, all of the different landscaping and woodland buffers and other protections for those land uses against adjacent landowners.
Okay, so that's a very important point. Because density is an issue with respect to our township, particularly in the area of residential and multifamily areas. I don't want to take up too much time, but on the way over here, it's just a beautiful environment of single family, large lot kind of scenarios. So I believe it's important for the residents of the township to understand what 8 units per acre represents and the impact that that has physically on a community that we've put at your charge to help us protect the character of what our township's all about. So I'm glad you brought that up. That was an important point. Thank you.
You can come to the front.
Yeah, and come around the front. Be a little easier. Yeah.
Joni Manson, 13269 Beavelheimer Road, Harlem Township. And I understand that existing residences will not be taxed with income tax, but we have a lot of home occupations in our township, and I'm wondering how this will affect them. I'm also wondering how does this affect the person who owns 5-6 acres who wants to split it and have their son or daughter get a couple of acres and build a house? Are they then subject to new income taxes?
So good questions. Will not affect a home occupation at all. And no, it will not affect your ability to split, which is up to the county, and you got to follow those regulations with the county. But no, it won't affect any of that. So the income tax is through what we call a JED, which is a Joint Economic Development District, which is an exhibit to the CETA. And one of the requirements is that the property owner has to voluntarily petition to join the JED. So since you're not a developer, we would not expect you to want to impose an income tax on yourself. So, but like Rob said, once property is sold for development, there is going to be a requirement, and when they go through the zoning process with the township, that they petition to join a JED. So, like any attorney, I'm long-winded. The short answer is it's not going to affect the way you're living your life now, or if you want to sell your property, split your property off to one of your children. Won't
Okay.
affect it at all.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Which I guess the FAQ answered all the questions. Okay. Sir, did you raise your hand? Nope. Okay. All right. All right, seeing as there's no additional questions, I'd like to make a motion, get a motion to close the hearing from Village Council.
So moved.
Kathy for the second. If you want to call that out.
Okay, Zach? Yes. Kathy? Joan? Yes. Pete? Mike? And Jillian?
Yes.
All right, Harlem trustees, do we have a motion to close the open hearing?
So moved.
Adam moved. Do we have a second? Paul second.
Who was?
And you want to call that out for us?
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Bob second.
Robert.
Thank you. Okay. Right, Adam?
Aye.
John? And Robert.
Okay, just so folks know where Galena is at with this process, we had our first reading of this legislation last month. Our council and our rules of council require 3 readings. So this will be our second reading. Next month, we'll read it a third time. It'll be up for a vote to our village council in the September meeting. I think that's a September 21st meeting, if anybody's interested in that meeting. I'm going to read second reading now. It's ordinance number 2026-10. A second reading, an ordinance ratifying cooperation development, economic development agreement by and between the Village of Galena, Delaware County, Ohio, and Harlem Township, Delaware County, Ohio, according to the provisions of Ohio Revised Code 701-07. That's our second reading. From here, Harlem will need to make a motion to close the meeting for Harlem.
Prior to making that motion, I will
Yep.
mention that our timeline for potential passage of this, it will be by resolution, which we currently have on the agenda for our September meeting, which will be held on September 9th in Harlem Township. But with that being said, I would make a motion to adjourn the Harlem Township regular portion of this meeting.
All right, do we have a second?
John Trainer.
John Trainer, second. And Michelle, you want to call it?
Adam?
Aye.
John? Robert?
Thank you, Harlem team. Thank you for everybody that came out. We're going to take a 15-minute break and come back together at 20 till. And we're breaking at 6:25. Bring this meeting back to order. If we could clear the room or sit down, please. Michelle, it is 6:36 p.m. when we start back up. All right, council, we have the minutes from July 14th. Any questions about those minutes? We have a motion to approve the minutes from July 14th.
So moved.
Jill moved.
Oh, second?
Jillian second. All in favor of approving the minutes of July 14th, say aye.
Aye.
We have the minutes of July 27th. Any questions about those minutes? We have a motion to approve the minutes of July 27th.
So moved.
Kathy?
Second?
Jillian second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have the minutes of July 30th, emergency council meeting. Do we have any questions about those minutes? We have a motion to approve the minutes of July 30th.
So moved.
Jillian moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Jill second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have the minutes of July 31st, emergency council meeting. Any questions about those minutes? We have a motion to approve the minutes of July 31st.
So moved.
Jillian
Second.
moved. Kathy second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Leanna Purdue is not here tonight. Is there anything we need to know, Michelle?
Just one item, they're having the tire disposal at for Delaware County residents at the Delaware County Fairgrounds on October 3rd from 9 to 12.
Thank you, Michelle. Next up, we have public feedback. Gentlemen, if you want to come up together. While these gentlemen come up, I just want to let council know that we have on our agenda next month, the 21st, an open hearing. There's been two changes to our zoning code passed through zoning, okay? One of those I know these gentlemen want to speak to tonight, just to prepare you and what's important here in terms of how this impacts our two of our residents. So you want to go ahead and state name and address, please?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Beal. I live at 1950 South Old 3C Highway. And I just wanted to talk to you about the issue that the residents of the planned commercial district have been facing. Just to recap, when we moved in 2017, the zoning residential was a permitted use. And then the changes that were made in 2021, that permitted use was not included. And my understanding is that was an oversight and that that was not intentional. So there's going to be a first reading of the approved language to get that back in. And my understanding is that effectively that language is the same, that not much has changed. We were hoping to sell our house at the beginning of this year. Our family's outgrown this house. I've really enjoyed living in Galena, but we've outgrown this house. And we were hoping to sell our house at the beginning of this year, and we weren't able to when we learned that there's a very high likelihood that buyers would not be able to get financing. We would have to disclose that the house was a not permitted use, which substantially affects the value of the property. So we've not been able to sell our house when we were expecting to be able to. It's a little concerning to think if that tornado that had come through had been 300 yards south, that our house could have been damaged to an extent that we would not have been able to rebuild it. If more than 60% had been damaged. So that's pretty concerning for us. So I know that there's going to be a motion that this be declared, that the rules be suspended so that this can be expedited. I ask that you seriously consider it. I would consider this to be an emergency, that we wouldn't be able to rebuild our house. And if there's any concerns about the language or the implications of the language, again, my understanding is that it's effectively the same language that was in before 2021.
Yeah.
So I just ask that this be expedited as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Just to add a little more to this. So, and this really came up to zoning here recently. Apparently when the zoning was rewritten in 2021, there's some language left out of this commercial area, which puts some burden on folks that actually have residential homes within that area. So we did expedite it through zoning. As you guys know, we need 30 days by statute to put something on council in an open hearing. So that's why it's moved to September 21st. So you want to speak too, sir? Yeah.
Tony Condo, 35 South Walnut Street, Toledo, Ohio. My new neighbor, I found out. It's great. But like Mr. Molnar knows, I'm sure anything that's in writing and zoning, if my house, like Daniel says, gets knocked down, it's in the zoning code. There's not much I can do. The insurance company's not going to look at me and say, well, we'll wait until Galena decides. I'm just asking council, please just pass this and do it quickly, if you would, please. That's all I'm asking. I'm not trying to be egotistical, trying to be humble, but I sit there in front of my house and people ask me all the time, do you want to sell it? And I'm going, well, right now,
How much?
it's about worth 10 cents on the dollar. So if you just think about it, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
We're not able to.
We can't do it
Do it
tonight.
tonight? Okay.
We have to have an open hearing just the question is, why can't we do it tonight? And in our zoning code and in the statute, we have to follow this strict process. We have to have an open hearing, do all the notifications. That's all done. We're ready to go. And so, it'll be on the 21st and it'll be expedited language. And, that's what these gentlemen are asking us to do. All right. Any other questions about that?
If anybody would like to say any questions about it, you can watch the last month's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Me and Michelle Parsons did a back and forth questionnaire that should answer most, if not all, questions that need to be asked about it.
All right. I've said enough tonight. Pete, do you have anything?
Just a kind of a point of personal privilege. So obviously we had the open hearing for the seated tonight. That's one of the platforms that I ran on. So as development is kind of going to be forced upon this part of Delaware County, we have some very hard decisions that we have to make. I think a very sound strategic decision is to enter into as many CETAs with our partners as we can. Because what I don't want to see is, and the other Pete hit the nail on the head, that sometimes you're force fed a project that you don't want, right? If I don't build on this land, then somebody is going to annex it and they're going to get what they want anyways. So now we're going to make, concessions to our zoning code or what we want the face of our village or our township to look like. When we enter into these agreements, it allows that development to happen more organically, and the people who are actually going to be directly impacted by the sale of that parcel to be in the driver's seat, whether that be amending your zoning code, referendum if need be, so on and so forth. You're not just getting force fed a project that you may not want. It benefits the village, obviously, because there's a financial gain sharing there, right? So what we're going to be able to do is provide utilities. We're going to say, hey, you're in the driver's seat. Your community is going to look like what you want your community to look like. We're going to find ways to generate revenue for our community. So that's your sidewalks, that's your streets, that's your parks, that's, full-time coverage from the sheriff's office at some point. Those are all those things that we're interested in, and that's how we're going to do that. So tonight is really kind of groundbreaking for the village, and the fact that we've now locked on to something that we think works, and we're going to reach out to other communities and see if they're interested in it, in an effort for everybody to preserve their local identity and work together and ensure that we're not swallowed up by the machine. So I think that's great work by the mayor and Jillian, and obviously the Harlem team. And I'm glad that we were able to get close to the finish line on that project for you guys.
Thank you, Pete. Tom, you've got a really nice update for council tonight. Lots of activities are going to be starting off, construction activities, upgrades, investments we're making in and around the village, and Tom's going to share those now. Yeah, you got a thing in your package, team.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. You can look in your packet. I have some exhibits there of some projects that we have going on. This isn't, your packet's not numbered, but if you can, the first page is this green one. We included that in your packet. Kathy's neighborhood, we're going to be planting some wildflowers. That's just for your update. But you can see the projects. The first one there is Galena Street improvements. As you know, we have a lot of improvements that need to be made on our streets, and I'm very happy to report that We went out for design build proposals, whereby engineering companies and pavement companies formed joint ventures and proposed to Galena what they could do for the funds that we had available. So this was called a fixed price best value design build contract. And we got two great teams. We liked them both so much that we split the project in two, and we're going to award it to each team. We were told by our attorneys that we were able to do that. So really super happy to report that. And you can see the scope of the project. It includes Columbus Street. We call it a stop pad. You might notice on Columbus Street in front of Coffee Vault, the road is all wavy there. That's from heavy trucks stopping there. We're going to put a concrete pad under that so that it won't give. But so that it won't look all patchwork, we're going to resurface the entire street and install another speed table at the center crosswalk. So we are confident that that will slow down traffic in front of our square. And also North Walnut Street. That's going to be awesome. The parking spots in front of the guardrail there, we have a plan to rework that whole area and put in a lot more parking. Pave it and stripe it so it'll be good legal parking spots for people to be able to have good, safe parking. And on top of that, we're going to have a walk path next to the guardrail so people don't have to wander across the street. They'll be able to walk down a sidewalk, get on a sidewalk, cross at a legal crosswalk, and everything will be all the way it's supposed to be there. We have South Walnut parking improvements. That's going to be awesome. We're going to redo the sidewalk, redo the catch basin, the curb and gutter, and also resurface South Walnut and improve the parking spots and make them legal parking spots instead of everybody sticking out halfway into the road. So we're really excited about that too. Home Street. Home Street resurfacing, as you all know, that's been needed for quite some time now. We're not only going to resurface Home Street, we're going to widen it by 4 feet. And we're going to make heavy-duty repairs in some of the areas where Home Street is compromised. On top of that, we're going to do some Miller Park improvements, including a paved entrance and an expanded paved parking lot with striped parking spots. So we're super excited about these improvements. I think it's going to change the whole face of the village, and that's expected to be done by Thanksgiving. So keep an eye out for that. The second project, I won't take as much time on, is the pavilion. The Miller Park improvements, 2026 improvements. You can see that in your packet. We're on phase 2 of that project. As you remember, last year, council decided to do that in 3 phases over 3 years. We're in year 2. In phase 2, we're ahead of schedule on this and also ahead of the scope of the project. Because at the end of in Thanksgiving, when all these things are scheduled to be done, we're going to have a nice concrete pad in the pavilion. There's going to be working restrooms, so we can get rid of the porta-johns that seem to fill up really quickly. So that'll be great. We'll have nice, clean, new restrooms. We'll have the plumbing features, electric features. There'll be lighting. It's going to be really, really nice. Now, we do have some finished up work to do on that pavilion next year, but this will get us pretty far. And we have all of our contracts in place. We have a schedule and a plan. So I'm excited about that. That's keep your eye out for that. The next project is the Village Hall entrance improvements. Council, you've been talking about this for 2 years. We finally got our building permit approved by the county. We have a design from a landscape architect, and we bid the project out, and we have bids. We're ready to award that project. So that again is scheduled to be completed before Thanksgiving. And really excited about that. That will correct all the ADA deficiencies. And Thanksgiving is a good day for the village. Yeah. So that will correct all the ADA deficiencies. Everything will be legal and ADA compliant, along with just really beautiful. You know, the entrance looks bad out there, and we're going to correct all that. And finally, the last project is the Village Square improvements. This is a smaller project, but important to the village. You can see a graphic there in your packet. We're going to add sidewalks on the north and west side of the square and also include a center block crosswalk there on the west side of the square. So that'll provide, again, legal ADA access to all the parking spots on the square. You'll actually be able to get out of your car and walk on a sidewalk to a crosswalk. So this will basically complete our ADA compliance initiative. And I'm super excited about these projects. There's a lot more to report on, but I'll let you read about it in the report. I do want to take a couple seconds to highlight a couple things. If you'll look at administrator's report for today, there's several things under administrative I'd like you to take note of. And if you have any questions, please get with me on that. Personnel, I do want to just highlight that we've had our final interview and making an offer to an amazing deputy administrator candidate. We've been keeping you posted on that. And Patrick Shirley, we're moving from Tech 3 to Tech 4 with some revised duties. So we're excited about that. And the rest of the things here, got some important stuff going on at wastewater, some engineering things. But if you have any questions, please get with me. And I'm happy to entertain questions now.
For the village square improvements, I know unfortunately it's going to be removing some parking spaces. How many is expected it to remove? Because it cuts through parking spots. Is it? I think it's only going to be one on each side of the road.
The village square improvements will not reduce parking.
Tom, can you please just also comment on the Hollis Motor Company that passed through council last month and where they're at and what the plan is there?
Zach, show me what you're looking at after the meeting. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the
The
center block
crosswalk.
crosswalk. Okay, that dovetails into what the mayor just mentioned with the Hollis improvement. Okay, so we're just going to move that parking spot. We're not
Okay.
eliminating. We're just going to move it. Good catch there. We're also creating 8 new parking spots in front of the new Hollis development, which is going to be great. That project is getting ready to start too this year. In fact, Hollis, we've asked him to work with the same contractor that we're working with on the Columbus Street improvements, so that'll be one seamless project. So what you'll see going down Columbus Street is going to be amazing. As you go out, you'll have 8 new parking spots, resurfaced road, new sidewalk. So yeah, we're going to end up with many more parking spots downtown.
And that started last week with the building being demolished.
That's-
Now they're cleaning it up.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Mhm.
Yes. And you can see work being done out at Miller Park right now on the slab, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Tomorrow, you'll see the sidewalk on the square started as well. The Lord willing.
Are there any plans to convert any of the parking spaces currently next to the proposed sidewalk into an ADA parking spot?
No, there are no plans for that. We have handicap parking spots. Our engineer feels that we have a sufficient amount of handicap parking spots.
I just want to thank Tom. He's really put the pedal to the floor here in the last couple of months, and it's been a lot of hard work to get us to this point. This is the exciting part. All the hard work that goes into it. Really, nobody really notices that. They notice when the work gets done. So I just want to thank Tom for that. Michelle, fiscal report.
Okay, I'll just make it quick. I've sold 4 cemetery plots and I just met with 2 more people. So it looks like I'm going to sell 4 more, not 5. So we've had quite a few plots sold here in the last couple months. And just a reminder, our next meeting is a week early. It's on September 21st.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, finance team, you've reviewed the invoices for August. Is there any issues with our invoices for August?
Nope.
Do we have a motion to pay August invoices?
I will make the motion.
Zach motion, got a second?
I'll second.
Jillian second. All in favor of paying invoices for August, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Financial statements, same question. Finance team, you review financial statements, any issues?
Nope.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve our financial statements?
I'll make the motion.
Zach motion,
And I'll second.
Jillian second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Zoning officer's report is in your packet for your review. We're going to move on to Arrowhead legislation. So last month, as you know, team, we passed a really historic agreement with the schools. We are going to be on a sprint to get all the legislation done. I'd like to have it all done this year to set up the overlay, the commercial, the residential, and the NCA district for the Arrowhead development. So what was included in your package is that schedule, so you can see the kind of sprint we'll be on to get it done, hopefully by the end of the year, if not the organizational meeting. So tonight is the first reading for the overlay, which includes the residential district. Okay, I'll read that now. A resolution delineating an overlay in relation to the proposed Arrowhead Incentive District within the village of Galena, Ohio, and adopting a written economic development plan as to the same, setting the time and place of a public hearing, authorizing and ratifying the giving of notice to the Big Walnut School District, the Delaware Area Career Center, and the Board of County Commissioners of Delaware County, Ohio, all pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 5709-40C and its related rules and laws, and declaring an emergency. So you'll see we'll have to set up an open hearing for this. You'll see that out in your schedule. I believe that open hearing would be in October. And then next month, you'll see legislation, not only the second reading for this district, but the first reading for the NCA and the first reading for the commercial district, just so you know where we're headed there. Any questions on that? All right, next one up, resolution number 2026-20. First reading, emergency, a resolution advancing funds in the amount of $39,962 from General Fund 1000 to Grant Construction Preservation Parks 4201 and declaring an emergency. This is the use of the Preservation Parks grant that we received earlier and trying to get it into the right spot. We intend to start work on those trails, so I would like to ask council to consider suspending the motion on this.
I'd be happy to suspend the rules.
Thank you, Jill. Do we have a second to suspend the rules?
All second.
Zach? Michelle, when you're ready.
Kathy,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Jillian,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Pete,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Great. And the last one here is the municipal services for Blackhawk Golf Course. That
We
annexation.
need to adopt it.
Oh, gosh, yes, sorry.
Suspend the
Such a
rules.
hurry.
Something didn't feel right.
Yes, we need a motion to approve resolution 2026-20.
We have a motion to approve
I'll motion.
2020. Okay, Julian motion.
I'll second.
Jill second. You guys got to get me back in order here. All right.
All right, Zach,
Yes.
Jillian,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Pete,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Slowing down. Okay. Ordinance number 2026-06. This is for municipal services to Blackhawk. They have not completed, Ken, is that right?
That's correct. They haven't filed yet.
They haven't filed yet, so we're going to need to postpone this resolution, or this ordinance, to September 21st meeting. So do I have a motion to postpone ordinance number 2026-06 to the September 21st council meeting?
So moved.
Jill move. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Jillian? And Michelle, when you're ready.
Okay, Jillian,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Pete,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
and Kathy.
Yes.
Okay, is it time for any other business? If anybody has anything else to add?
I'll just let council know that the finance committee met the second time to review our budget for 2027. Tom has asked the staff to have their budget requests in, so we'll have a formal review and we'll put the first draft in front of you for 2027 at the October meeting. If there's anything that you would like to see, I'd request that you get that into Michelle and Tom as soon as possible, please. That's all.
Anybody else? Okay.
Executive session.
Jill moves to executive session. Do we have a second?
Under which sections?
Yeah, under what section?
Personnel.
G1. Okay, 121.22 G1.
Thank you, Zach.
Sorry.
Thank you, Zach.